Hello, beautiful Sagittarians. I'm very happy to be here with you today. I'm Emma, and whilst I'm new to YouTube, I am not new to doing this. I've been doing it for many years, and I will post in the description box a link to my website in case you want to find out more about me. But for now, I'm just really excited to do your April 2021 reading. The way that I'm going to do this is I have been sort of soaking into Sagittarian energy. So I'm going to bring forward some of what I have been feeling, but also I'm then going to pull 3 cards for the month of April, any messages and themes that are coming up. And towards the end, I will pull 1 card also centering on relationships, because I know how special that is for all of us to kind of link in with. So we are ready to begin. Now, as I've actually been soaking into Sagittarian energy for the past 2 days, because whilst I wasn't able to sit down and make this video, that energy was really moving through me. And I love that because I'm a Sagittarian. So obviously I was quite excited about it. And the term that I got was, it's time to go where angels fear to tread, or perhaps where angels have feared to tread. And now what I love about this is I really felt strongly that the angels in this analogy are you as Sagittarians. You are the angels. And obviously not from a Messiah complex kind of stance, but but more from this sort of earth angel feeling. This angel feeling of wherever you go, you seem to bring so much fun and warmth and love and knowledge and care. And you have so many ways of bringing that to people that maybe doesn't even look like that's what you're doing. You know, you're incredible healers. And I think you find ways to do that that don't necessarily look like healing. And so we can put you in places. And this way that you are very naturally uplifting kind of makes you just a glorious little angel. And I feel like with this term, it's time to go where angels feared to tread. That we, throughout the month of April, will be encouraging you, we being us with the spirit world, with the universe, life. There is this encouragement to go to the places that maybe in the past you have been tentative to go and even afraid to go. Now, of course, I'm not encouraging you into any danger. So nothing life dangery, you know, anything that's going to put your life at risk or anything that is truly terrifying and going to trigger a traumatic crisis. This is more, perhaps there have been areas of your life that at the moment need evolving. I think that's a definite. Like, there's areas of your life that need inflating right now. And it may be that the encouragement is to go into environments, situations, experiences that if we'd asked you to do this, you know, a couple of years ago, 6 months ago, a week ago, perhaps you would have felt that, you know, that niggle of fear, like, oh, I don't know if that's what I feel ready to do. And I feel like as well, it might be that these are places that you said you'd never go. And now you're feeling the pull towards it. And the whole point of this conversation is to give it some sense of validation, to sort of confirmation there, to say we stand by it, because it could be presenting in ways such as you said you would, you know, never get married, and now there's this option to maybe consider what it means for you if you were to go from being you know, from being a single or in a partnership, and now you're considering the life changes of what it would mean to be married. It might be that you said you would never work in this industry and now you're feeling a pull towards it. Maybe you said you'd never work with children and now for some reason you want to go work with children. And it could be that you've been on, you know, for years on the hunt for relationship, and now you're kind of feeling like you want to explore who you are as a solo individual, and maybe you don't have that feeling for relationship anymore, and so you're sort of going to step into the adventure of being a single person, you know. And I think there are a lot of ways that this could present. I know that that's a little bit jumbly, but what I intend to bring forward here is that I do believe April is going to bring invitation to go to places that not so long ago you said you wouldn't go. And now this is not contradictory to your sense of self, but it maybe does ask you to question how you form your identity. Because maybe by moving into these areas, it will require you to let go of something that has been quite a part of how you relate to your sense of self and how you relate to your values and your ethos and your philosophies. Perhaps where you're going makes it look like you've sort of changed your mind and you're not quite lining up with these things you said before. And I know that as a Sagittarian, it's really important to have this sense of integrity and sincerity, and you really do honor that sense of self. And I mean, none of us can make you do anything that you don't want to do. We can't get you to leave things you don't want to leave or begin things you don't want to begin. You are very self-driven, and that's something I love about Sagittarians. However, I feel like it is going to look like you've changed your mind. It is going to look like, oh, hold on, it's going to look a bit flighty, perhaps, like you've suddenly just changed your mind. What, just like that? Yeah, just like that. It might just be that now you're ready. Now you're ready for this experience and what it's asking of you. And I do think it is going to bring up this questioning about how you relate to your sense of self. I mean, relationship is a fantastic example to use, because if we have identified ourselves within a partnership, and now it's time to move into single living, we then have to ask, well, who am I on my own? And it's similar if you're a single person moving into co-creative experience, moving into union and partnership. You then have to readjust this sense of identity that you have strengthened as a single and allow for the evolving of what it means to be co-creative in partnership. And these are big life changes, and the same applies for work and creative projects. I think when we've become quite used to doing something and then we're doing something completely different, that completely different thing does change us. And so there are these themes running through April for you, Sagittarius, that say you've changed. What you want has changed. The way you see the world has changed. What you're ready for has changed. And now you need to experience something different in order to honor those changes so that your living experience is more reflective of the person you've become. And now that's the authentic Sagittarius that we know you to be. It's not picking a set of rules and carrying them out your entire life. You are so good at evolving. You're so good at moving with your heart's desires. And this area that you're going into, it's different. It's different from everything you've been. And yet it's very reflective of where you're at. And I also feel like you're kind of needed wherever you're going. This is the angel thing kicking in, right? Not from an egoic kind of place. You know, it's not saying I am, all Messiah. I've come in to be everybody's savior. It's more knowing that by going into these environments, somewhere, somehow, you're wanted, you're needed, you're going to make a valuable difference, whether that's going into a certain work environment where you are going to be able to sort of just by being yourself, create this new example in this environment that's really wanted. You're going to be of help, you're going to be of use, it's going to make you feel very valued and appreciated and purposeful. It might be that you're going into relationships that are more expansive, and what you have to give from that heart space is very wanted and needed by the person or people you're interacting with. And it does feel like this is very much about getting you in a new environment. And just by placing you in that environment, just you as you are, without having to have a goal here that you're going in with, it's just the very example of you in that place is going to be transformative for everybody involved. And it's going to be inspiring and encouraging and loving and fun. I think you are so much fun, Sagittarius, and the world needs a lot of that right now. So we do have this theme running, of it's time to go where angels have feared to tread. You're going places that previously made you feel uncomfortable just at the idea of it. And it's not because they're bad places. Like, I'm not encouraging you into anything toxic, so don't use this as an excuse. I'm encouraging you into great places that honor your greatness. We're basically taking the greatness that is you and putting it in another great place, something that lines up. And then together, you with this environment, you're going to make it even greater. And it's time for you to take the greatness that you are, all that angel energy, you know, that kindness, that fun, that compassion, all those incredible philosophies and thinking and being, and put you somewhere else. And I just feel like the fear is because you either didn't feel ready for it before, or you said that you weren't going to do it and now you are. So there is that as a theme, you know. With that in mind, let's pull 3 cards for April and see what the conversation is. Let's have a look and see how that honors it. Oh, these are lovely cards. You're going to be pleased, I think. Okay, so our first card is the 10 of Wands. And I feel like with this particular card at this moment, you know, I'm going to go intuitive and not what the card traditionally means. Intuitively, when I look at that, I feel like you're only supposed to be looking at your next step. Okay, so within April, it's not about the big long-term plan, but just about the best next step. So if you're going into these places where, you know, maybe you do feel a little uncertain, but at the same time you feel sure that's where you're going, and yet you have no idea why yet. You have no idea where it's leading, what's going to become of you, what's going to become of the situation. But you just know you're supposed to take the first step into it and not look too far ahead. I think it would be very easy to get knotted up if we try and anticipate how everything's going to roll out. But this feels very divine. It feels like the places you do step into through April, you're in the right place at the right time. You're meant to be there. It's divinely supported. And so you can trust that although you can't see all the steps, they're probably going to be all right. You know, like it's going to be good. It's going to be good for you. It's going to lead places that you want to go. But in order to maintain a sense of confidence, just look at the next step. You will always know the next best step. That is something you're really good at. You might not know all the things. You might not know how this is going to play out in 6 months and a year. But you do know enough to know that if you walk into it, it's going to lead somewhere. And I feel like in order to be able to absorb the experience and savor it and seal it in and receive all the layerings from that experience, it's really important to take it all one step at a time. You know, I know that with Sagittarians, you know, wild horses run free kind of thing. I think though what you've got is keeping your mind from running, but let your feet do the moving. Yeah, you do want to sort of try and anticipate everything. You may feel that that's really something you have to be very disciplined in, you know, like to bring it all back. But I think you're safe to gallop. As long as you know the next step, I think you'll just be safe to gallop, and it will all work out just fine. Because what I've got after that are some beautiful cards. I mean, we've got strength there, and then we've got the 9 of Wands. I mean, all that wands, I mean, that's a lot of fire energy. You know, we've got the wands there. But I mean, if we put these together, I mean, this is the time for you to be full on Sag, right? This is your time to be courageous and bold and take a risk. You're really good at taking a risk. Like if I said to you, right, you got to take a risk. At this point, your response really could be, well, I'm well practiced in that. I'm pretty good at doing that, at taking the leap of faith without really knowing what comes next. And I think this is the time to be bold and courageous and fun. Make it fun. This isn't a nervous, oh my God, I'm about to jump off a cliff kind of thing. This is a, ooh, let's go into adventure, because you've got so much internal strength. You've got so many characteristics that make you fantastic adventurers. And I think throughout April, you will find that there is a lot of encouragement around you that is reminding you of who you are. You know, the last 6 months, you may have felt, you know, a little sticky, you know, sensitive, maybe even a bit down, a bit unsure of yourself. And I imagine that's because you were just sort of really moving through these subconscious settlings, you know, like settling everything out from all the big life changes in recent months and years. And it's, you know, those wobbles that you've been experiencing in the last few months, they're not really reflective of this incredible, powerful you. And I feel like you're going to be having lots of conversations through April with friends, but also with people that have just been observing you, that really shine back to you these incredible, these incredible qualities within you, like your compassion, your perception, your connection, and your fun, your ability to make people smile and feel good, your ability to learn as you go and grow and evolve. I mean, I just feel like people are going to be really reflecting back to you everything that makes you you, and that these are your strengths. And I feel like in this happening, it's going to really start solidifying this sense of self, this person that you know yourself to be, that's going to give you the confidence to do all these new things that we're asking you to do. So this is just our conversation that says, even if you're a little bit unsure and getting a bit wobbly, don't worry, because you should notice that from almost every angle, we are there cheerleading you. We're using so many voice pieces to do this. We've got so many people lined up that will be reminding you of just who you are. And that will remind you that you are ready for these new experiences, you are ready for change, and that you thrive from evolving, and that you are an incredible adventurer, and that everything is supporting you. And I feel like you really will feel the support there. You will feel the support from life, from spirit, from friendships. I feel like you're going to feel very supported through April. There's this celebration of you, and that is going to reassure you that yes, you are ready for these changes. No, you don't know how it's all going to work out, but you do know that you have got everything inside of you to go into something bigger now. And you need something bigger because you've outgrown some of the experiences that you've been living. This isn't your entire life. We're not saying we're about to level up your entire life. I feel like certain things already leveled up, right? So we're just bringing everything up to match that. Just expanding the areas that feel flat, and these will be your areas of focus. But what I love is, I said, we've got this celebration of you. I mean, those two really go together. They go hand in hand, because this is everybody celebrating you. So even though you are going to places where you're not entirely sure of yourself, everyone else is sure of you. You might get the occasional naysayer, the occasional grumbler, but there is almost too much celebration of you to ignore. And so April is looking like a really fun month. We've got new experiences, new opportunities, new relationships, new projects, and everybody is happy to see Sag. Everybody's happy to see Sag. Everybody's happy to hang out with Sag. Everybody's happy to be working with Sag. I mean, everything is really it feels like life is trying to bring you back to life now. And so April is this really fantastic month to get, I guess it's going to get your confidence up, to support you in having that self-belief again. And it's going to be supportive of helping you have that deepened sense of trust in life, the universe, spirit, the things that maybe got a bit wobbled in the last year or so. And I think with that new gained trust and that new gained confidence and that new gained feeling better, just going to feel so much better. There's going to be so much joy. And from that place, your clarity is going to be astonishing. You'll be so pleased to have that back. Your clarity is just going to be sparkling. And it's making the way for bigger things. Because with that level of self-belief, you're going to go bigger again. So, I mean, April's just the start. April's just the start of probably what is a 6-month, year-long phase of us introducing you to going bigger. But allow April to be the beginning. You know, this is saying don't go too far ahead. Allow it to be the beginning of a very new chapter for you, one that you have been yearning for and wanting and are absolutely ready for. And I think it's going to be great. So keep an eye out for where you feel drawn, even if it seems a bit weird, like a week ago, a month ago, 6 months ago, you said you were not going to do that, but now you really want to do it. Pay attention to those callings. I feel like they'll be unmissable in you. I feel like it will be happening. You will be beginning it. And then the questioning will kick in. what am I doing? Should I really be doing this? I was really worried about this before. What the hell? Why am I doing it now? And I think it's likely you'll begin and get involved in something and then question it afterwards. But we got you. There's so much support coming in to say, yay, continue, go forward. And I think April's going to be a lot of fun. It's all about new, it's all about bigger, it's all about taking our angel into new places. And I think everywhere you're going is everywhere you want to go. And you'll be wanted there too. So it's really awesome. All right, should we have a little look into relationship on that note? It's a fun one. It's the Five of Wands. Oh my God, look at all this wands. Like other than strength, this whole, all the other cards have been wands, which is a lot of action. Let's face it, April is not going to be quiet for you. It is going to be full of living experience, not thinking about the experiences, but actually being engaged in them and living them and learning through the living of them. And what I love about this is obviously we've got our conflict card here. This is internal and outer conflict. However, I do not believe this is external argument. Okay, so let me take that off. What I do think is, I think the internal conflict is coming from where there is a lot of celebration of you. There's a lot of support. There's a lot of encouragement and love and care for you. I mean, like I said, massive celebration month of you. I feel like in relationship, you may need to take time to listen to where you're getting a little bit wonky about how you feel people might perceive you. I think there's some old stuff there where you have been criticized in the past and disappointed in relationship, that actually going into such contrasting experiences where friends and colleagues and people on the street and maybe lovers are celebrating you, they might feel a bit weird because you're not used to having this much support. And I also feel like it might be very obvious who is on your side, who is clapping for you when you win, and who is not. And I feel like some of that, because you're incredibly sensitive, I mean, Sagittarians are all heart. All heart. They've got incredible minds, but every sort of runoff from them in life is heart. Everything's emotion, everything's feeling. And I think what you may find is that you've got so much beautiful celebration of you, but then the people that aren't might sting. Yeah. So what we do want to acknowledge is that the ones that aren't celebrating you, the ones that aren't encouraging you, the ones that are coming in with a different tone and making you feel a little bit rubbish, one, that is all about them and not about you. There's nothing you can do. There's no amount of convincing that you can do to get their approval. So if there is, any hint of criticism, it's just a sign of where they're at, maybe just that day, or maybe that week, or maybe this year, but it's a very clear and obvious sign where they're at. And I feel like because you're getting so much beauty from other areas, it's a sign to not pay too much attention to that. Do not invest more time in it, especially in relationships. So if you're dating people or talking to people who are not being kind to you at the same level that other people are, because you're getting some real life tangible experience that people do care for you, that do think you're incredible, that do think you're awesome. These ones, the wonky ones, are really going to stand out. And actually, you don't need that. You don't need it. It doesn't line up with everything else your life is trying to become. And I think they will stand out. And I would say don't cut people out. There's no need to cut people out, but maybe just pay attention to it and be discerning how much of yourself and what areas of yourself you want to share with those people. And now this is a very strategic tidying up, because we've got big things for you the next year. And if people are going to sort of rain on your parade, ideally, we would not want them to have too much of a place in the next year. Maybe it's just about being discerning what you share with them and how much involvement they have in your world, because we're putting in a lot of awesome people and they're not maybe you need to decide if you want to bring them forward. But also, it's going to get you practiced because what's coming is really big. I feel like you're leveling up in every single area the next year. This is going to get you practiced in honoring your standards. And it's also going to get you practiced in the sense of allowing some of this stuff to become like water off a duck's back. Not everybody's going to like you. Not everybody's going to be on your side. Not everyone's going to get you. You bring a lot to the table, and some people just aren't into that. And I think what it's going to do is it's going to get you so practiced in focusing on your celebrators and really reveling in that and soaking that up and being inside the warmth of it and feeling really great. And you've got such a lovely number of these people that when you get one or two naysayers, one or two critics, one or two people that are not on your team, you're going to be too busy enjoying all the other people, all the great people, that you won't have as much time to get, fussed over these ones. You're just going to be too busy. But that comes with practice. Like the first times that you noticed a friend or even a stranger not be particularly enthusiastic about what you've got going on, that's going to make you go, oh, I don't know how I feel about that. And especially if it's in relationship and you're starting to see that the people that, all of this is relationship, let's say romantic relationship. If you're starting to notice that people are, trying to like dull your buzz, that you're really excited about something and you're sharing it with them and they're not sort of a cheerleader for you, they're not going to survive the next year because you're about to get even bigger. And getting into these practices, like about saying, well, I'm about to get even bigger. You think I'm big now? You got no idea. This is about to get so much bigger. And honestly, if you're struggling with it now, I don't think you're going to keep up in the next year. And it's just going to help you get into some good practices about choosing where your focus goes and where your investment goes and where your time goes and where your energy goes. And of course, you've had a lot of practice of this already, so this isn't new. But it's important that we do this through April because we just really want you surrounded by people that make you feel good about yourself. And this is all part, like I say, of developing this self-confidence and self-belief. And I think that's where we're getting a bit of conflict. I think where things are going to be so beautiful to hear back about yourself, that the ones that aren't particularly into you are going to stand out. It's the contrast. Is going to stand out. And you may find that April is a month that invites you to keep readjusting your focus when it comes to relationship. Yes, some people are not on your side. Some people are not into you. Yes, that's true. But also, yes, some people are. Lots of people are. And this is the time to say, okay, we're going to put a lot less time and thinking and energy into the ones that aren't. And we're going to really get practiced in just shifting over to areas. I tell you what, I'm going to give you a really good tip that I've been doing. The last week, I've been very excited about a lot of things. And it was really clear to me that I had such amazing support in the form of friends, family, my boyfriend. I mean, oh my gosh, it's been beautiful and I've enjoyed it immensely. But I had one or two people that were very clearly not wanting to talk about this at all. Like they just did not want to hear about my pleasures and my excitements. And I think maybe, the fact that I had a week ago been on a bit of a downer and then I'd come up with such a rising that I felt so great. And these people just went into it. And I had to say, okay, that feels a bit weird because I love these people so much, but they're just not into it. And that's okay. That's okay. I'm not cutting them out. There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't devalue our connection, but it does. What I've been doing is I've just been saying, okay, so I felt slightly unsupported there. Let's look for evidence of where I'm supported. And then throughout the day, I was receiving an abundance of confirmation, like from friends and family members and clients and people I work with who were saying so many wonderful things. They were so supportive. They were so kind. And it was this exchange. I was doing it back and everybody was happy. And because I shifted the focus of where I wasn't getting it right into evidence of where I was, I really didn't have time for that to leave a residue. I just shifted it straight over. So I would suggest doing that as a practice throughout April to get you ready for later. Don't worry about who's putting a thumbs down on your experience. Look at all the thumbs up. There are so many of them. And I think it just shows that you are in control of where you find pleasure and joy and resonance and connection and reflection in your relationships. And we are really handing that back to you in April. In relationship, we're handing it back to you to choose where to go and what feels good, and it should be incredibly obvious to you. And this is all part and parcel of getting you ready for bigger things later. So, you know, it's looking good. Please let me know what's going on for you. I'd love to hear. Let me know what new things you're getting involved in, what new people you're engaging with, what new types of people, maybe what new types of people you're into. That might even be relationship. Oh, I said I'd never date a blonde guy, and here I am. I said I'd never date somebody that's from this country, and here I am. I said in all fairness, Sagittarius would never say that, but I just feel like there's this difference, you know, like maybe you're even in romance, you know, like maybe going for a totally different type of man that you said you'd never go for, a type of woman that you said you'd never go for, types of work. I want to hear about it. Come and tell me. In the meantime, you are welcome to join me again next month. I will be back then. You can also join me on Patreon. It's a new community, but I'm really excited about it. We're going to have lots of fun. I'm doing daily readings, weekly videos, and I will be introducing a live conversation once a month as well. But we're having lots of fun on Patreon. Come and join me there. And I'll be talking to you all there as well, so you can grab me there. Also, one-to-one readings are available through my website. So if you want that one-to-one time with me, you can go and check that out there. And I'm on Facebook. I'm all over the place. Come and play with me. We'll have a good time. But I will join you again for the next one. And I send all my love with you for a fantastic April of newness and celebration of you. Go where angels have feared to tread, Sagittarius. Lots of love. See you later. Bye.